Hello everyone. Today we're going to recap a romance, comedy, and action-adventure movie titled 6 Days, 7 Nights. Spoilers ahead. Watch out and take care. Robin Monroe is the editor of a New York fashion magazine called Dazzle. One day, her boyfriend Frank surprises her by saying they always work. And now he's managed to arrange a week's vacation with her boss for them. Next, they're going to a tropical island called Makatea. Frank goes to get their bags, and Robin goes to look for a charter to their island. She asks a mechanic named Quinn where she can find a charter to Makatea, and she's told that she's lucky. They are fixing a regular flight to Makatea that she didn't catch. Frank appears, and Robin says they can't take this broken plane. They must find another one. Quinn says it's not broken, it's under repair, and their only option is a boat that takes 3 days to reach the island. With no other option, they board the plane and prepare to leave, with Quinn as the pilot. A girl named Angelica shows up. She's their flight service supervisor. Angelica happily shows off her new swimsuit. Next, they arrive at this exotic island, and Quinn welcomes them to Makatea. They arrive at the resort, where they move into a beautiful room on the beach, and Robin says she could stay there forever. That night, when they go for a walk, Frank suddenly proposes to her and she accepts. Later, Frank says he'll be back in a few seconds, and a drunken Quinn approaches her. Robin asks where his co-pilot is, and Quinn says she's with the tourists. He says people come here for romance that they can't find anywhere else. Robin doesn't like this comment, and after a while Frank shows up, and Robin says she wants to leave. The next day on the beach, Frank is checking out the passing girls. Suddenly, Robin receives a phone call. It's her boss saying they have an emergency, and if they don't find a manager to take care of this photo, they will lose their main cover model, and this photo happens to be on Tahiti Island near Makatea. She says she's sorry, but there's no one else and pleads with her to do it. Robin reluctantly agrees. And next, she asks Quinn to take her to Tahiti Island. She can pay $700. Quinn asks Angelica if she wants to join, but she says she has a show that night. Quinn says he can go in an hour. Robin asks Frank to go with her, but he says he'd resent going with her, and if he stays, he would miss her and make her feel guilty leaving after he proposed to her, which is what he prefers. An hour later, they're ready to depart. The sun is about to set, and they leave. He asks her what she does, and she explains that she's an editor for a magazine. Quinn sees the magazine offers women 10 tips on how to ignite a man's fire. He says it's nonsense. All a woman needs to do to get a man's attention is to show up. It's easy. Frank goes to the local bar and watches a show. Suddenly, Angelica appears, catching Frank's attention, and Frank watches her intently. A storm quickly forms, and Quinn says they better return to the island. Feeling nervous, Robin starts taking some kind of medication to relieve the stress. Suddenly, a lightning bolt hits the plane, damaging their radio and causing the plane to lose altitude. After taking too many pills, Robin is drugged and starts to act drunk. Quinn suddenly spots a small island and goes in for an emergency landing. While Frank is having a great time in Makatea, Robin and Quinn are crash landing, God knows where. The next day, Robin asks where they are, and Quinn says he doesn't know, explaining that the wheels on the plane are broken so they can't take off. Robin asks him if he isn't the kind of guy who can go into the forest with a pocket knife, build a shopping mall, and fix these things, and Quinn says he isn't. She comes up with an idea, picks up a phone, and says she'll call for help. After a while, she finds out there's no connection. Quinn says there's bad news. They can't take off. They can't call for help. And if people start looking for them, it could take days to find them. So they're going to have to stay together for a very long time. All they have is a flare gun, with only one flare. Robin starts to argue, wanting her money back, and Quinn gives her half of her money back, saying he thought he brought her half. She's very upset, runs onto the plane and throws stuff around. Suddenly, she finds a life raft and starts messing with it. It explodes in her face, and she's trapped in the plane. On Makatea Island, Robin's boss calls Frank asking where Robin is, and since no one has received their message, they call for help, and soon they're on a helicopter looking for them. On the island, Robin catches Quinn's eye, and she tells him to stop. Quinn says she's not his type, and when she asks why, he says she talks too much, is stubborn, has a narrow butt. She asks him if he wants to know why he's not her type. He replies, no. They find the water they were looking for, but when a pig appears, Robin gets scared and runs into the water. Suddenly something swims up her pants. She yells for Quinn to help, guessing it's a snake. Quinn tells her to relax and he gets it out. She thanks him. Next, Quinn prepares some stuff. After a while, he comes out looking like a bush, ready to hunt. She says he can't kill such a beautiful animal, but when he says they taste just like chicken, she wants to give it a try. When she starts eating, she can't stop. Afterwards, Robin says goodnight to him, then sleeps in the plane. In the morning, Robin wakes up, sees a plane in the sky. She runs to Quinn, takes the flare from his hand but stumbles and fires it at a tree. Quinn wakes up and sees she fired the flare. He gets totally mad, asks her what she was thinking. She says she was trying to signal the plane. Quinn is calling her crazy, explaining that the plane is a commercial airliner. Even a nuclear explosion wouldn't be visible, let alone a flare. Angelica tells Frank not to worry. Quinn will take good care of his girlfriend, no matter what happens. Next, Quinn and Robin head to the island because there's a radio beacon at the top of several islands. However, when they reach the top, they don't see any lighthouse. Quinn walks into a bush, starts to hit it and curse. Robin tells him not to lose faith. Suddenly, Robin notices a boat is arriving at the island. They both run back to the plane, hoping to board the boat in the morning using the life raft. While trying to reach the edge of the island, they see the boat. Robin asks him what happened with Angelica. He explains that Angelica is just his friend. However, he once had a wife. She fell in love with his business partner. They suddenly see two boats. Quinn takes a look and sees someone was killed. He quickly turns around and says they have to leave there. When Robin watches through the telescope, she sees one of the men saw them. Quinn explains that they are pirates, robbing boats and killing the boat owners. The pirates lower a motorboat. Quinn is trying his best to reach the shore. The pirates are getting closer and closer, start to shoot at them. Both swim to land to become more difficult targets. They start running at full speed, but due to rowing in warm weather and being exhausted, the pirates catch up. Quinn tells Robin to hide. At the same time, he picks up a log to trap them. He starts hitting them, kicking them, but the last man comes out with Robin threatening to kill her. When they're about to execute Quinn, Robin says there's gold and jewels on their boat, explaining they're trying to expand their business, selling to tourists on the island. The pirates demand that they lead them to the boat, but as the pirates aren't paying attention while walking, the two jump down the slope. The pirates start shooting and catching them. Quinn and Robin suddenly reach a cliff. Quinn says they need to jump. Robin says she can't. Quinn kisses her to think about something else, then pushes her off. When the pirates run over, they can't see them, start cursing. Meanwhile, Frank is almost crying, saying he loves Robin. Angelica says she thinks men don't know what love is, because all the men she's met say they love her. Later, Angelica is getting drunk. Frank asks her if she's okay, saying they have to get up at 6 a.m. because they're going to expand the search area. She answers that she's feeling a little uncomfortable, and asks if he's willing to stay with her tonight. At first he says no, but then he regrets his answer, instead immediately saying, "Why not?" But when he starts thinking about Robin, he answers that it's wrong, and says no again. He starts to feel conflicted again and leaves the room to avoid temptation. The next day, Angelica wakes up by a knock on the door. The man says they will continue the search in 20 minutes. Angelica wakes up Frank in bed. Frank starts to say all of this is wrong. Angelica doesn't like such comments. Frank says what she does is right, but what he does is completely wrong. Angelica comforts him, saying it's normal to feel sadness. Like after a funeral, people often want to do something relaxing. On the other side, when Quinn and Robin reach the shore, they start making out on the beach. The two are still continuing. Robin says she's afraid the pirates will search for them. Quinn says he's also very scared. Robin asks him not to reveal his feelings. Quinn says he thinks what women want is men who can touch their feminine side, and Robin says that's not the case when they're being chased by armed men. They suddenly find a World War II plane. Quinn climbs up to see if there's anything useful on it. On the night, Quinn and Robin share their experience of liking to kiss on the beach, saying it's best for them to get some sleep. Robin leans in Quinn's arms, saying it feels good and safe. Suddenly, Quinn gets an idea. The next morning, Robin wakes up to a loud noise. Quinn knocks down the float from the tree. They find a current used to transport old plane floats. The two drag the plane float to the sea. That afternoon, Frank says this experience tests him, without revealing any of his character. Angelica answers that he should stop beating himself up, because he's a man. He can't control himself. Suddenly, they are told the decision has been made to cancel the search. Quinn and Robin reach the beach, start cutting trees, build a structure so they can lift the plane. They start digging in the sand, cut down bamboo. The two create a small waterway, push the float under the plane. After a lot of work, they finally complete the build. Suddenly they notice the pirate ship appearing. They fire towards the shore. Quinn tells Robin to get on the plane. When he tries to grab his stuff, there's another explosion. He gets hit. Robin sees him getting hit, jumps out, helps him into the plane. The pirates get closer and closer. They reload their guns. Quinn starts the plane. When he increases power, they suddenly let go and start accelerating. They keep getting shot, but the pirates are not very good aimers. They manage to take off in the last second. The pirates make a last attempt to shoot them down, but their shooting backfires. The cannonball falls back onto the ship and explodes. In the air, Quinn says he should show her something in case he can't stay conscious before landing. Meanwhile, Makatea holds a funeral. Frank starts to cry, begging forgiveness for his sins. Suddenly, Angelica hears a familiar voice, then starts yelling that Quinn is back. Frank thanks God. Robin tries to remember what Quinn is saying to her. She almost loses consciousness. She checks the instruments, reduces speed, initiates flaps, then tries to land. A float falls down. People run over. Quinn wakes up instantly. They all start to help Robin and Quinn get off the plane. Sometime later, Frank states that the hotel decides to offer them a month's free accommodation at any time. He thought he would never see her again. Then he explains that, under this kind of pressure, people go crazy, doing things they don't want to do. He tries to cover up his guilt. Next, Robin goes to the hospital to visit Quinn. She asks him if what happened on the island is real, or if it only happened between the two people on the island. Quinn says it is real. But he tells her that she has all sorts of possibilities, worth looking for someone younger, fresher. She asks if this isn't something she can decide for herself, but Quinn adds that these things won't work out, because he is not made for a city like New York, and she won't come here to become his co-pilot. She says he is right, and wishes him all the best. Next, they are at the airport, about to return to normal life. Suddenly, Robin says that she thinks they shouldn't get married when something is hanging over their heads. Frank starts to say he is sorry. He really tried not to do so, but then Angelica took off her shirt, and he couldn't help it in his sadness. She asks Frank if he slept with Angelica. Frank answers that he thought she knew. Robin says she didn't know. Frank asks what she means by something hanging over their heads. She explains what happened between her and Quinn, and adds that if they were truly in love, this should not have happened, gives back the ring to him. Both agree that this might be for the best. Robin hesitates while boarding, but she still goes ahead. After a while, Quinn runs over, asks where the New York plane that just took off is. He turns around in disappointment, suddenly sees Robin communicating with airport staff, asking where her luggage is. Quinn walks up to her, tells her that he thinks his life is too simple. He wants to start complicating things from now on. The two start to kiss. She says she really wants to live in his little cabin on the beach. Thank you for watching. If you want to see more videos like this, please be sure to subscribe and hit the like button to support us. See you in the next video.